Hello and welcome to the Power of No live series. I'm Helen Renevik and a visionary coach, consultant, and the creator of the Power of No without guilt. It's a transformational program that helps high achieving givers to set boundaries and do them clearly and confidently without the guilt. So today's episode, we called it Boundaries Under Pressure, saying no and still showing up. So if you have ever felt the weight of being the to go person, if you've struggled to protect your time without feeling like you're letting others down, this conversation is for you. So I'm joined here together with Oleg Sjöström. He's an experienced leader in project and process management. I hope I'm saying it right, yes, who's navigated high stakes corporate environments and knows firsthand what happens when we say yes too much. So, today we are going to explore what boundaries look like when there's pressure to deliver and how to say no can actually build trust and performance rather than break it. So, welcome, Oleg.
Hello, welcome everyone. So here is Oleg Sjöström. Thank you for inviting Helen to this event, to this streaming, something new for me and new format. And hopefully the topic will be very interesting, and I'm quite sure that it will be very interesting.
It will. So, I'm going to say when you hear this phrase, the power of no without guilt, what does it bring up for you?
When the when I first read that the power of no without guilt, it's a mixed feeling for myself because for the saying no. This is something that I don't experience very much every day because I'm usually, I used to say, I'm a yes person and I want to do things and I love to do things. And being guilt, it is something that we used to feel when actually promising too much, I would say. And if we say yes to a lot of things, or so-called yes, yes, just to finish the discussion. Then later on, if someone is asking, well, do you remember our discussion? This was very conservative, and we need to maybe take the next step. And were you thinking about this? And can you connect me to that person? Yes, I do remember that I was promising things. So saying no or the power of saying no, it is something that needs to be explored in the way that it is not something obvious that is coming every day.
Hmm. And I mean, you have seen this for some time now, the power of no without guilt. Is that both the same professionally and, personally, or no? Is it different?
It is a lot of professional and personal, and I would say a lot of personal because this used to come from the personality and not always wearing the mask at work. We do it accordingly, so we drag our internal me that sleeps very down there below somewhere, coming up from our previous experience, especially in stressful situations at work when we need to explore like what to say, what to do, act quick. So these disturbing factors are especially motivating us to say quick yes to something that approves something and to be approved for something and to take it later on with something that we don't expect or with something that we don't have enough energy for or enough time for. So therefore, it is always something that in our personality that is out there driving us in the stressful situations, as we can call it, out of the comfort zone situations, and even in the professional manner, in the professional life, when we are talking to other people, to our managers, to our subordinates, to partners, vendors, customers, we used to say yes, especially in the sales process when we used to say yes to everything that customer is actually requesting, talking about the professional things. And this is very dangerous. So therefore, wearing the mask of the professional of you in of myself in the profession, doing business and conducting business, being entrepreneur, it's very much something to be aware about and something to take care about, I'd say.
Mm, that's very important. Heard the mask, that's what I'm hearing, and awareness. So, you have been working in high pressure environment in IT in tech and this, which is really fast moving, and maybe people also want to show themselves, show I'm better, I'm here, and this. So what have you noticed about the pressure to say yes when, you know, even when the right thing is, you know, it's not the right thing. You should actually be saying no. So even when it's not the right thing to say, you just say yes. So what have you noticed about that pressure to say yes?
Usually, when someone is asking for something or requesting something, let's take by example, if we are talking to a supervisor, for example, who is asking, "Can you do that?" or "Can you do this?" then it is rather a pressure of the power of the person, right? And then like immediately I'm getting back to my back of the head and wondering, okay, should I say yes because I can do this? Should I say yes even if I really can't, but maybe I can learn quick just to play a good team player, just to show off? Or is it something that I don't have time for in my calendar, but I need to prioritize? So probably in this case, it is a good idea to ask about the priorities or what
Mm.
should I stop doing before saying just yes in that kind of situation. If we are talking about some more casual conversations in a team, say in the project, since I'm actively working in the IT environment and community, so we have a lot of meetings and conducting them every day. And it's very much easy to say yes to everything, and it's very hard actually just to say no. If someone is asking about the technology, oh, can we do that? Question is originating from someone in the team, and probably is in the space out there. So maybe someone has the answer. Then it's very easy to cover with everybody else, so-called mind of the team, and not my personal view, to say yes and confirm that we can do it. I saw it somewhere on TikTok or somewhere else. Yeah, so it doesn't mean that it's something that existing in the real life and that's something that we can deliver, for example, in a reasonable quality or in a reasonable time frame. But still, it's very easy to say yes to either team members or someone that we very well know, and then really be very, very feeling guilty about that because there was someone who said yes in the team. And no one really remembers who was that, but if the team as such is replying all the time yes, then how much yes will fit into one sprint, into one time frame? So again, this needs to be leveraged against the qualitative measures, against the time measures, and probably something else before answering. So before answering yes or no, it's a very good idea to think twice.
Mm, prioritize, I heard there when you were saying. So, have you ever said yes to something at work that looked good on the outside, but left you? I mean, you said a little bit about that, before, but left you feeling drained because, like you said, you are someone who want to say yes, but then again, like you said, you also prioritize and to be aware. But have you? I mean, it doesn't have to be now, but maybe before. Have you done something? You said yes to it, and maybe you wanted to do it, but you didn't really have the capacity to do it, and afterwards you just felt drained.
It's very easy to promise things. So it's very easy to say yes to everything, and even if the initial impression is that I can do it, and I can leave, and I can be suitable for everybody, or suitable for the person. It is something that comes from probably deeper in personality. For example, if a person would like to be good fit for everybody, and that everybody loves, and feels very excited to work with, because person say yes and deliver. This is something that could lead really into the draining of the energy completely. So there should be some space left between those tasks that a person took on himself. And for myself, we are talking here about my experience. It is in a very common situations that I tend to say yes, because I would like to deliver, that I would like to contribute, that I feel that it's very meaningful to act upon, and do extra step, or how we used to say, walk extra mile to do something more. And on the other hand, it might be that the day is stuffed with the other things, not only professional, but with the personal, with the family things, and therefore there should be space enough to perform and to do things in a quality manner. What once upon a time my mom said, the biggest threat out there is to defocus, so that you have so many things to do, so many to dos, that you just not figuring out that you completed things and can enjoy that you completed something. So defocus is something that I have experienced once, that led to a real burnout in a situation, in professional manner, and therefore this was really a situation that I would suggest to nobody to experience. So
Yeah, it's really it's I spoke with someone yesterday, a lady, and she loves her job and she loves to do it and it's her work, but she took on more and more because she lost some team members and she did it. And she wakes up early morning and all of a sudden she had started feeling drained, although she loves it. So, it's not always things that we don't love. It could be things that we thoroughly enjoy. And she went to the doctor, and the doctor then, diagnosed her with burnout. And she was telling me, is there actually something as burnout? She said, I didn't think it was going to be this way. But that's the truth. Burnout is not something that just comes from something that we don't like to do. It could be something that we do love to do. However, we didn't make be prioritized, like you said, make a schedule to also take time to just breathe or do nothing. Not I'm not just saying in front of the TV and just no, but do nothing. Just relax your mind. It's because burnout is real, like you said.
and to add to what I have already there, and what you highlighted as well, is not only the focus and promising too many things to be able to fit into those 24 hours, because all of us having only 24 hours a day,
Mm.
right? So there's no magic around that.
I usually
Uh,
say 1440 minutes because then it sounds
that's big.
so a lot, but that's what we have. Yeah.
That's big number. Thank you. So the idea, what I wanted to highlight as well, is the fear of missing opportunity.
It's
So
called
if
FOMO,
yeah,
fear
so
of missing out.
exactly. So this is something that was driving me throughout several times in my professional life and in the career, that hey, this is something that definitely I should use, and this is something where I should involve in, because this is future, this is whatever formulation could be there, especially if it's something really inspiring. And I was in a situation when it was something very boring and routine. So getting involved in something very exciting, and at that moment seeming very long lasting, would be something to consider for sure. But then again, before saying yes, let's do it, let's go for it, it's yeah, probably the time had to be out for thinking twice about the prioritization. Is it so? And right think maybe to say would be, let me think about it. I will get back to tomorrow, because when we sleep over with the idea that was sudden and seemed to be very excited, but there was no room for that. Maybe it's just something still to do, and it could be wise thing to do.
I think that's what you asked, a bit answered here now, to help, because sometimes we can be in that automatic yes, 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 and we don't, you stop, like you said, I mean, to prioritize that, what you require to do, and what is important, and to have that in, awareness, what is really important for me and my business, because it's not just your business, it's you too, and you are your business. I usually tell people, even if they don't have their own business, but you are your business. Even if you go to a job, in a company, you are your business. No, know and be aware of what you say yes to and what you say no to.
Mhm. It's actually a very, very good formulation about automatic yes. So I'm not the only person who has had this set up before, or mindset. So there are a lot of people who are saying yes because they are excited, because they would like to, and it goes like overwhelming, so like a snowball effect, of course. And my takeaway and my effort was to actually get back to myself and ask about whether this is something that I should do about my priorities that I really would like to do. And this is one thing, but how to get there into the prioritization. Actually, first thing he already mentioned, that is to be aware about that, because once the person is not aware, saying yes and just going straight forward to the burnout, right? It is something that probably needs to be figured out, like what could be the reason. If the example that you provided, when someone was getting to the doctor and then, hey, you're diagnosed as a burnout, right? So I was in that shoes, and I was not really aware about that. I was not really studying any psychosomatics about that. So therefore, it was a little bit surprised, like, oh, really? Am I doing this? And once I got back to myself and did a discussion around it, so of course it became very clear that that was exactly the part of the problem, saying probably too much yes for the same period of time. Mm.
So we have a question here, if he's still watching. So Faisal, he's asking, what would a nicest way to say no? Would you like to answer that?
I have my version of that, or a lot of versions. I know that Johan has a lot of the ideas how to say in a nice way. No, no, but for me it varies. It varies on the context, whether this is someone in personal, in the family, and that could be still something approving or not approving. And I'm really not afraid of that, because we can't go into the maze when building up a relationship. If we are in the business, and this is something that me as a lawyer or entrepreneur need to not put into the priority list, or it's not completely compiling together with the mission, or with the idea of the business or what I want to achieve. Of course, I would argue in a very unfashionable manner, and say that, well, this is not the way exactly how it works. And I would try to motivate it accordingly, explaining the view and maybe proposing the alternatives. But that's my experience. What would you say, Helen, to that?
What I would say, I would change the word nicest to the kindest, because nice is nice, it's not kind. Kind comes from the heart. So I always believe you have the answer, Faisal. You have the answer. Think about, how would you love or like to have it, answered. How would you like it to be received? I mean, if you came and you asked me, Helen, could you please do this in the next hour? And then I would just stop because it's so, like we were all just now at the BNI meeting. So then maybe something had to happen. But if I really didn't have time during that time, I would say, Faisal, at the moment I cannot do this. However, after our meeting, I will be able to do that if it was during, a special time. But if you're asking me for, something bigger, and you want it right now, no, then I would say, and I don't feel bad about it, no, I don't have the capacity to do that right now. However, could we schedule another time, like Oleg said? But I always believe that if we go into think about being kind, and being kind is not including ourselves. So always think about, how would I advise someone else? Because we can't be available 1440 minutes a day for everyone else. No, we have to include ourselves. And if we're coming from a place of kindness, not an arrogant or something like that, then I do believe that no is a kind no. So maybe I answered that, or maybe I didn't. You can write something in the comment, and I will answer it later on, or Oleg will answer it later on, if you have any questions pertaining what we have been talking about. So now I'm going to ask you something. You were part of my three day reset earlier, last month, 7 weeks ago, maybe. Did anything shift for you in how you think about boundaries or energy after that experience?
Oh yes, a lot. Thank you for that question. I really enjoyed those 3 day reset or retreat, and not only my only reflection, but also the other participants. That was very interesting to hear the other thoughts and examples that would lead to bring awareness of saying yes, and maybe to link some dots that I was missing during the time, right? So therefore, during those 3 days, I have learned one very important thing that let me look on the other angle to what is saying yes or saying no. This is awareness of what are the consequences if I say yes. So does it correspond to my priorities? Does it correspond to what I want to achieve in the long term? Does it correspond to my values? And I managed to do this awareness for sure. And after that, I was experiencing also how to do it in a nice way as well, saying no and freeing up some time for my more high priority activities. And once the awareness is there, it's possible to make a choice whether I want to do it, or I want to act like that, or I want to do the change. And therefore, my choice was to make the change and be more conservative. I put this formulation for myself valid to saying no and stick to mode of priorities and mode of the set of the values that I have.
I like that you are, to be having the awareness and the values. I'm all about values, because if we don't live by our values, how can we? And if we don't show or tell other people what we value, how will they know what we do value? So it's important to share your values with others. So, the last question I'm going to ask you: how do you personally know when a no is protecting your energy and when it might be fear holding you back?
Oh, that's a very tricky question. No wonder that this is the last question.
Is it what is what do you feel is tricky with this question?
Yeah, I think that it's the word energy. I think we haven't been using that one before, like protecting the energy, because it's the offspring of the idea of being drained with the automatic saying yes.
So you're saying it.
Right.
You
So
are
there,
saying it.
so therefore there is the logical way of that, and not always being logic in the decisions. This is something that comes from the emotions as well. So our energy, my energy specifically, is directly dependent on the surroundings that are there. And if I said yes to someone, if I agreed to commit to something, let's let's imagine that situation. It is not even that worse to misperform or maybe not achieve something. But if I promise something to myself, if I say yes to myself, putting that originally as the question, I want to do this, I will do this, and then I don't achieve it, then it's much worse from the energy perspective. It's really draining from within, and it's something that is not visible because no one outside will blame or say something. Hey, you didn't do this or didn't do that, because we usually have something to say when we didn't do this because of. But when we need to say it to ourselves, that brings a big issue out there. So therefore, the topic of saying no without guilt is not only about saying no to everybody else. It's also to be able to reflect and say no to ourselves, to myself as well. Not to get into the situation where the energy is completely lost, and then of course it can bring a lot of complications, right?
Yeah. And thank you for speaking that so truthfully and so um, clearly, because it's not always easy. And no, that little word, it can have a negative sound, but it is actually not. It is a kind word, if we look at it like that.
When I actually came to the 3 day course, I
Mm.
was a bit skeptical because I thought that I don't have any issues with the yes or no. But that was my a bit misinterpretation, and I gained the sense during the session, because what the idea, what I got is actually to get back myself. So actually, the getting back myself and my time, taking into account those priorities, emotions, and everything that we just mentioned. So it's really the small word, but there's a lot of sense in it if you dive in. And I
Mm.
think that your station is really exploring that, and allows people with the very simple examples and ideas to get there, and it's really designed for the achievers. So those who are achieving, those who are
Givers, the
successful,
givers, the
givers,
givers
right?
of the world, the givers of the world. But it's so easy, and I'm so grateful for everyone that has come, and shared their side of this, because we are all different. Every human being is unique, and we never, that's not a fault and that's not wrong. We are, but however, we just have to learn certain tools and the awareness of, is it serving me or is it not serving me? So we've almost come to the end. And Oleg, thank you so much for your honesty, your insights, and your presence today. This conversation is so important reminder that high performance doesn't have to come at the cost of our well-being. It's so important to know that. And to everyone that is watching in the future, whether you're, you know, or maybe today or next year or whenever, I hope you walk away with one powerful reminder. You don't have to earn your worth through overgiving. Boundaries aren't barriers, they are bridges to sustainable leadership and a healthier you. And that's what I would love for everyone to have that. So if this has spoken to you today, stay tuned for next week's episode. And of course, the Power of No Without Guilt officially opens on July 25th. And until then, I'll be here sharing tools, stories, and afterwards too, after I open the door, and insights to help you reclaim your power. One small no at a time. You don't have to change everything. So, thank you again for joining us and
Thank
for
you for
joining
opportunity.
you joining here too. So, thanks a lot. And I look forward for next week's guest, and have a lovely day or evening or whatever it is. Thank you. Bye.